students. What was the purpose of that message today?
Well, it's part of a belief system that I have in that our students are brilliant, regardless of what the report card says, what the recommendation says, what the SAT or ACT.
Wait. This is the Assistant Commissioner for Education saying this?
Yeah. It's also Anael Alston, who was Anael Alston way before he was Assistant Commissioner. It's a belief system. In the environments that I grew up in, there were people smarter than me, way smarter than me. I have 2 degrees from Columbia University, which some people would say is evidence that I'm smart. But I know that there were people who dropped out of school that were smarter than me. And so, as a professional, I walk around believing that people are brilliant, and it's the school's job to identify what the brilliance is and help draw it out. In other words, regardless of the environment that one has been raised in, they have been collecting knowledge, skills, and abilities, in other words, assets, that if we help them use properly in the context of school, they will excel in school. And yes, they are brilliant.
Wow. So for the past 7 years as Assistant Commissioner for the State Education Department, Dr. Alston, and I know you have, your resume is super long, and we're going to get into that, you know, former principal, former superintendent, just an all-around amazing, exemplary educator. This message about brilliance, how does this connect to the work and the overall purpose for My Brother's Keeper? And you've been doing this work and building these communities, helping school districts build communities throughout the state of New York. How does this connect?
Sure. So beliefs tend to drive behaviors. You're here on a Saturday with no additional pay, not because you don't have anything else to do, and the same thing for me, but because I believe what we're doing is important on this day, then I am now driven to come to this place, the Westbury High School.
The Westbury.
Okay.
Yes.
And do the work. Okay. So if beliefs drive behavior, then I will say that any initiative that I have been a part of, when we do the programming, it's to ensure that if the students are brilliant walking in, what should they be getting?
Sure.
Which is very different than if the student is weak in reading, what should he be getting? No. If they're brilliant and they need assistance with reading, what does that look like and what do we need to do? And so part of the messaging and for sure all of the programming that comes out of our office in the Office of Access, Equity, and Community Engagement Services.
And that's your full title.
That's the full title.
Okay.
For My Brother's Keeper is built upon my belief, and I'm sure the commissioner and chancellor sign off on this, that our students are brilliant and deserve the best.
Right. Evidence
of such is when we do the mastermind book studies, which I am happy that the Westbury School District will have fellows and will participate. That's taken out of one of the premier leadership and professional development experiences that I had on the John Maxwell team.
Oh, talk about that.
Sure. So in 2015 or 15, when I became superintendent of schools, I knew I needed to up-level my leadership because I was playing in a different arena. Okay. And I had went from principal to superintendent,
right,
which is a jump.
Right.
And the only central office I had was being a school board member,
okay,
out in Quogue.
Okay.
So I said, I need to up-level my leadership. So I invested in the John Maxwell team, premier leader, thought leader in leadership. And part of what they taught us is the mastermind,
right,
and how to frame it out and use it as a tool.
Right.
So then we said, well, let's do this for the young people we're working with to grow their leadership capacity. And we started the mastermind book studies. Mm-hmm. And so it's because I knew that was a premier leadership program, and we knew that it would be impactful to young people, and they say it is to this day. That's how that came about. It was the belief in brilliance and that our students should get the very best of what we have access to.
Sure.
And do it.
That's true. That's awesome. That wow. That makes sense.